Okay, I think this is my last No King's Day post because it's going for 11 o'clock and I got to get to bed. I have an early morning tomorrow. If you haven't seen my shirt, I got it at my Craftivism event. It says One Nation Indivisible. One of the other local Indivisible chapters was selling these as a fundraiser. And I know we're supposed to wear yellow tomorrow, but I kind of want to wear this shirt. I don't know. We'll see. I know we're trying to not dress in all black, so maybe I'll wear this in like a colorful skirt. I don't know. I'll make that decision at like 6:30 tomorrow morning. By the way, my awesome cousin in Kentucky sent me a video. He got like the most hilarious inflatable chicken suit, and he sent me a video of him like strutting around in it. People are really getting into the tactical frivolity. People are really leaning into the whimsy. And I think that's such a smart decision because we are basically making fools of all of the Republican leadership who is trying to paint us as violent Antifa terrorists. Just your regular reminder, Antifa is not an organization. It just means anti-fascist, and I find it very strange. Why is it that our government would be so strongly against people who are anti-fascist? If you're anti-fascist, doesn't that make you pro-fascist? Doesn't that make you a fascist? Anyway, before I get on that tangent too much. So, I hope that it goes well out in Kentucky. I hope it goes well everywhere, right? There are millions and millions of people who are going to be out tomorrow. It is predicted to be the largest single day of protest in the history of the United States. We are making history tomorrow. And I'm definitely pumped for tomorrow. I'm ready to get out there. I know that we are all doing our best to fortify ourselves against the propaganda of the regime that is trying to scare us into not turning out tomorrow. I know there's a lot of scary, vague, nebulous posts on social media that are meant to make us want to stay home. I've had a whole lot of bot accounts that are just like, please stay home. There's no need to do this thing tomorrow. Like, MAGA's really, really scared. They really don't want us exercising our rights. Like, why would Americans be afraid of the First Amendment being exercised by their fellow Americans? That's weird to me. It's weird how the like fuck your feelings crowd are now a bunch of snowflakes who can't handle people disagreeing with the illegal, cruel, and brutal things that ICE is doing in this country. We're not allowed to stand out and say, actually, I don't want healthcare cut from 14 million Americans. Actually, I don't want 300 plus hospitals to close around the country. That's pretty American for us to stand up and do that. There's a reason that the right to free speech is one of our most sacred and revered rights. There's a reason that the right to peaceably assemble and petition your government for a redress of your grievances is enshrined in the First Amendment. Pretty solidly entwined with the American identity and our core values. But MAGA are afraid of us doing that tomorrow. So much so that they're trying to villainize grandmas, grandpas, veterans, families with little kids, disabled folks, teenagers, teachers, pastors, doctors, scientists, union members. I know we're supposed to wear yellow tomorrow. I think my husband is going to wear red because they're asking union members to wear their shirts. Regular, ordinary, everyday Americans are standing up. There's going to be lots of flags. There's going to be lots of Lady Liberties. And like, we know what we're doing is as American as apple pie. We know what we're doing is very sensible and normal. But MAGA is really scared of it, and especially Republicans in the Trump regime are really, Mike Johnson, other MAGA Republicans, they're really scared of us exercising our constitutional rights because they're trying to dismantle our democracy and they're trying to turn it into a dictatorship. And we don't want to do that. We don't want any kings here. We want a country that is governed by the people. And so they're really trying to stoke political violence, and they're really trying to make us scared into staying home. And we're not going to. I posted earlier today, there was a little blurb that was put out by MoveOn.org that said, after Mike Johnson and the Republicans started trying to say that it was a Hate America rally, which is just, it's embarrassing that they're even attempting to claim that. After Mike Johnson started putting out all of this really negative rhetoric, well, of course it brought tons of publicity to the event of No King's Day. And also a bunch of people have the same mindset as me. He wants us to stay home. He wants us to be scared. Fuck you, make me. I'm going to be out in the street. So we're getting all of this publicity from MAGA politicians who are talking about No King's Day in a way that's like absolutely absurd. Nobody believes that it's a Hate America rally. Nobody believes that it's Marxist Antifa terrorists or whatever. No, just go look at the pictures from No Kings 1 and you'll see that it's a bunch of grannies and veterans and families with kids. It's just ordinary, regular Americans. But what is it my beloved Fall Out Boy sings? I don't care what you think as long as it's about me. I don't care what Republicans say about No Kings, as long as they're talking about it. It's basically free publicity. And they're not just going to end up with egg on their face. They're like cracking it on themselves, right? The things that they're saying are just so silly and absurd. But also they're trying to whip up the MAGA base. They are trying to get a couple of fringe, crazy guys to come do a violence. They want to have their agent provocateurs. We're seeing reports that there are cities where people are worried that there are going to be counter protesters, there are going to be agent provocateurs, and we have to understand we are committed to nonviolence. We're going to practice our de-escalation skills. We are going to gray rock all of those MAGA counter protesters that are there. And if there are agent provocateurs, we're not going to pick up the bricks, y'all, right? We've all learned that lesson. We don't know these people. They're not with us. They're going to start shit with the cops. Nope, they're not with us. But I do want to acknowledge that people are rightly afraid. People are fearful right now, and they are choosing to step out and be brave, even though it feels scary. Millions of Americans tomorrow are willing to take a risk for you, for me, for the future of this nation. And I want to introduce you to a phrase that I think is really important because I think it really encapsulates what we're doing tomorrow. That phrase is courageous citizenship. And I want to conclude here by reading this little passage from Braver Angels, and I hope it inspires you and encourages you and emboldens you for tomorrow. Powerlessness is a paralyzing feeling. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk, as with the assassination of Melissa Hortman before him, many Americans feel powerless before the threat of violence. So too do many Americans feel powerless to defend their civil liberties. You do not have to agree with these fears to know that in this moment, all of us fear something. Sometimes we fight against this feeling through fear and outrage, and a fear which can lead to retaliation, right? I think that's very much what a lot of MAGA are experiencing. They are coming from a position of anger and outrage about their economic circumstances, the fact that the American dream feels like it has been denied them. I think they also have a lot of fear. The regime has told them to fear immigrants, to fear people who have a different lifestyle than them, to fear trans folks, to fear Black folks, to fear the future, to fear any change, to always want to go backward and regress, to go back to a previous time which felt more comfortable, or at least a fantasized, romanticized version of the past. I do think a lot of the political violence that we see from MAGA comes from a place of fear that leads to retaliation against perceived sources of their pain and anger. These are emotions that can feel empowering, and indeed there is a place for righteous anger in political life. But real power is found in the bonds of community, rooted in goodwill. And as Martin Luther King Jr. taught, power without love is reckless and abusive. We have to cultivate a power that comes from courageous connection and empowered citizenship to ensure that today's tragedies do not become tomorrow's normal. Whatever your politics, you are not powerless. Whichever side of the aisle you are on, you will find power in community. And it is community through which we have the power to heal this nation for all of us. I think that story of the potential for our healing and reconciliation as a nation is something that I want to focus on more in the coming months. We got to get through tomorrow first. We got to work on building our power as the resistance first. We have to build those bonds. We have to lean into the truth that our power comes through our solidarity with each other. Right? That's what tomorrow is all about. So I'm going to hit the hay because it's now going for 11:30 at night. And I will see you all out there tomorrow on No King's Day, where we are going to make history, the largest day of protest in the history of our nation. A day where we get to draw hope from each other. We get to feel empowered. We get to make those connections. We get to engage in courageous citizenship.